as a wealth strategy. So how do we become wealthy in our lives? What does that even mean to really be wealthy from the consciousness standpoint, so that materially and spiritually you are wealthy? So I would love to see where you guys coming from. So if you're here, say hi or give me some emoji or something so I know you're here. And if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay, so I know that you're around. So today we're talking about raising your energetics, your frequency, your standards in order to create wealth as a strategy for your wealth. Okay, so first let's look at what is actually wealth. There's so many misconceptions about that. People think that wealth means I have a lot of money, for example. That's a materialistic perspective on wealth. And of course, money is component of wealth, but it's not the only one. Okay, so if we think of wealth in the energetic standpoint, wealth is being a part of the abundance cycle. So a whole life, the whole universe is essentially energy. When you interact with the universe, if you are aligned with the abundance cycle, you are naturally giving and receiving, giving and receiving. This is the cycle of service. So first thing that I want you guys to start reprogramming in your perception is that wealth is not money. Wealth is service. And through service definitely can come in material wealth in a form of money, and also connections and opportunities and incredible experiences and consciousness upgrades and everything else you can think of, all those amazing things that we all want, right? So as somebody who is a spiritual coach or a healer or somebody who's on a conscious path for a while in your life, I know that you understand that you desire kind of more than just a profitable business. Of course you want a profitable business, but you also want the consciousness part with it. And this is the thing that I see so much has been separated. So over here is the business and over here is the consciousness, when actually energetically they're meant to be together. Money is spiritual. Money is actually meant to be part of the abundance cycle, just as much as consciousness upgrades like being in integrity and so on. So today we're going to look at some of the components of wealth strategy, as in how to be wealthy by upgrading or raising your standards for how you see yourself and everything in your life and in your business. Okay, so the bigger concept out of everything I just said, to summarize, is that wealth is not just money. Wealth is a flow of energy between you and the universe. And that exchange back and forth is what we call abundance. That is abundance cycle. We serve, the universe serves us. And this is how we actually become truly wealthy in our hearts, in our bodies, in our souls, and materially in our businesses. Okay, another component of the wealth energetic strategy is what are you broadcasting out into the world. This is another component that a lot of times people miss, because we tend to focus on what we don't have. How do I get higher level clients? How do I find the marketing that works the best? Should I do this or should I not? I don't have this. How do I make that happen? Anytime we fixate on something we don't have, we are actually broadcasting scarcity. That is energetically an incorrect broadcast. We are miscreating when we do that. So creation, that means you're putting out what you desire to experience, and then you attract to you whatever that is, right? This is the abundance cycle I was just saying, that the universe gives you what you want because you are serving. You're not focusing on, I don't have this. You're saying, I have and I share with you. May that be your audience or your paying clients or whatever. You share, and then you get back from the universe in the form of opportunities, support, and money. When we're broadcasting, like resonating out into the universe, something that is scarcity based, that means we're fixating on what we don't have. And as soon as we do that, we break that wonderful cycle that we just started to create. So that's one of the main reasons I see that people say, well, my intentions didn't work. I did everything right, and how come it's not working? It's not necessarily the intention didn't work. It's that there was no consistency of your energy broadcast. In other words, were you thinking, feeling, and doing in the same way as your intention? Or were you doing that for a little bit and then you kind of fell down in frequency into feeling bad, feeling not enough, or maybe despair even, or some emotional wobble or boredom or exhaustion or whatever we all have. Mind you, we have that on every level. That up and down happens on any level of business. You can be just starting, or you can be super successful and you still would be having that type of an up and down. That's part of, sort of a normal experience of being a human being. But how we handle that, as far as what we choose to consistently put out into the universe, that's what then creates wealth or miscreates it. In other words, takes it away from us. So the broadcast or the energy that you're putting out into the world is super important as something that either will give you the wealth that you're looking for because you're part of the cycle of life, right? Or it's going to not give you that no matter how much you intend and positively think. Because those things without correct energetics do not produce the result we're looking for. Okay, so now let's look at more of what does it mean to actually raise your frequency, since this is what we're talking about, raising your standards, raising your frequency. This is a common term. People say like, oh, you should like raise your vibes and be vibrating higher. Why? As if somehow lower vibrations are bad and higher vibrations are good. I would want to rephrase that into disharmonious vibrations are not desirable. Harmonious vibrations are what you want. Lower or higher frequency depends what is it you're doing. All the stuff on the material plane is going to be to some extent lower frequency anyway, but it could be harmonious or not. Just like all the consciousness development stuff, all the things that you're doing in self-transformation would be higher frequency, and again, could be harmonious or not. It's up to us if we make something harmonious or not. So when you're raising your standard, frequency-wise, that might not necessarily mean you're actually raising your frequency. You might keep your frequency at whatever frequency it is, but you're harmonizing it, okay? So raising your standards, that's like if you think of whatever your version of high-end, of the premium level, you want to match that within yourself as a being, as a person who you are, okay? So rising your standards in who you are, that's what kind of the beginning of everything. What that means is being in integrity with yourself, following through on whatever it is that you decided, no matter what, knowing that you internally chose this bigger direction that you want, and then having consistency to go after that. What I see most people do is they kind of get rigidly, like I decide I'm going to do it, I'm going to follow through, and then they use their will and push to make it happen. That's not the decision and follow through I'm talking about. Because when you do that, it's a kind of a teeny little portion of reality. And that's usually your mind has decided. It's something in your head that said, okay, this is the strategy I want to stick to, and I'm going to do it no matter what. That's not necessarily a harmonious decision, because it's not based on actually the higher standard of you. So if your standard is, I am the person who is aligned but listening to the universe, I am responding to what the universe is telling me, whatever that means for you. For some people, it means getting messages in their subconscious and just kind of having it through dreams come to them. For some people, it means maybe getting signs in the world, like license plate on the car that you're driving after or something like that. But it also could be more literal, like opportunities that come into your life. When you're allowing yourself to respond to what is happening, you then can course correct as you go. What you are following through with or on is the higher vision instead of the teeny little strategy. So when we're talking about upgrading your standard of who you are, we're talking about upgrading your vision and then sticking to that vision no matter what wobble you might be having personally. Because as I said, wobbles do happen. We human beings tend to have our emotional, back and forth or up and down. But you kind of want to think about it like, if this is your emotional wave, you want to be the middle. You want to be the one that sees the vision and follows through with that no matter what, even though your emotions might be, sometimes you love it, sometimes not so much. Okay, so that's what it means, upgrading the standard of yourself as part of your wealth strategy. Another component of your wealth strategy is obviously the money itself. Okay, so money is energy, money is spiritual. It materializes spiritual energy in something that we then give a meaning to, and we say this matters because it allows us to function in this life. But money in itself does not actually connect to your value. So more money you have or less money you have is not in any way going to make you more enough or less enough. You are whatever you are. You're eternally enough and awesome. But having more money, if this is what we're desiring, which of course if we run businesses, that's what we desire, we enrich the world by having more money come to us. Okay, so upgrading your standard in connection with money actually means that you value it to the highest level. You don't dismiss it like, oh, whatever, it's just money. And you don't ignore it. You don't avoid it. And you definitely don't connect your self-worth to how much of that money you have or don't have. So when we do that, we are conscious with the frequency of money. What that means is you are back to that cycle of abundance. We spend the money, we receive the money. We spend the money, we receive the money. So to attract more money flow into our life, we need to rise in our understanding of money being an actual spiritual component of our personal transformation instead of the thing that's going to give us something. So that's another big thing here that I want you guys to get about money, is that it's not something that's going to make you more or less than whatever it is that you're thinking. It's not linked to your value in any way whatsoever. It is an energy that's meant to be part of the service cycle, not part of self-enriching cycle. When it's part of the service cycle, we can actually pull in towards us more money. That's how it works. Universe rewards you for being of service. Okay, next thing as far as rising your standard would be definitely about clients. So there are clients who don't do the work, who tend to not focus on whatever instruction we're giving them, who tend to be in a victim consciousness, who tend to want you to sort of like babysit them, like hold their hand and guide them through every little step. Those are lower end clients. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's if you're wanting to go to the next level of your transformation, then you want a different kind of a client. You want to rise up within your mind as a standard for what kind of a client you choose to work with. And this is actually something we determine ahead of time. A lot of times what I see is that people tend to say, well, these are the kind of clients I get, versus what kind of clients do you want to attract. When we just go with whatever type of clients that life is giving us, we are limiting ourselves to reaction to whatever we're receiving. But what we're receiving is already based on our broadcast. That's what I talked about at the beginning, that whatever we are putting out into the world, that is the energy we then get reflected back to us, right? So if we're putting out that I'm here going to hold your hand and do all the little things for you and support you in every way possible, we're essentially kind of saying we want to be the parent for the client. So then we attract clients that kind of like children. And if this is what you want, that's okay. But if this is something you're noticing in your business and you're realizing, wow, I want higher level clients, I want the ones that are more self-sufficient and proactive and self-responsible and able to do whatever it is that you're actually teaching them or showing them how to do, that means you need to raise your standard on what kind of a client you choose to have and what kind of a client you don't choose to take in anymore. That in itself changes what kind of energy you are putting into the universe. So then you will be attracting the type of a client that matches more the type of energy you're putting out. Okay? So for the ones of you who are meeting me for the first time, I am Eugenia Oganova. I am Wealth Energetics Business and Marketing Coach. So what that means is I help you avoid years of ineffective strategies where you're trying to do something that somebody told you or whatever you think you should be doing, but really feeling pressure and frustration and friction. And instead, I aligned you with your natural soul design, with the way that you actually meant to do things in your life, the way that your body and your energy field is made. So then you only do what works for you, so that your business feels like it fits you like a perfect outfit. Instead of something that you kind of have to fit into, it feels joyful and fulfilling, and it attracts the type of clients you want, and it generates the type of income you want, because you are getting your needs met as you are living your life and running your business. So that's what I do. We were talking about the raising up the frequency of who you are with the standards of your perception of yourself, of what you're putting out into the universe, your relationship with money, and the type of clients that you want to attract. So raising your standard on the type of client that you want to pull into your world, all of that as a wealth strategy for your life and business. In other words, that it's a long-term transformational upgrade to who you are. And we start by these simple things like looking at, okay, what am I putting out into the world? Do I like that? Is this consistent? Is my standard for myself high enough? How about my standard with money, how I spend the money? Am I cheap with how I buy things? Or am I allowing myself to have something that is actually going to upgrade me and feels good? Am I creating enough of the container to hold that? And what kind of clients I'm choosing to put the energy out there, that this is what I'm, essentially choosing to attract. So another component is, of course, self-care. You need to rise up within yourself to the level that feels like you are the priority for yourself. From that place, you can serve. Okay, so raising your standard on your self-care essentially means that you are recharged and replenished when you come in to deliver whatever you're delivering to your clients. That you're not coming in on empty, you're not coming in with desperation, you're not coming in with like, oh, I don't have this and I need this and how do I, but you come in with more of the energy of flow and support, and what do my clients need right now? How can I bring this to them right now? Because I know that this is what would really help them, but you come in full. You come in already replenished and recharged. Okay? And of course, the other component is self-belief. When we raise our standard on what we believe about ourselves, we open up the possibilities as to what we can create. When we don't do that, then we keep our possibilities in a narrow box based on whatever it is that we had in the past. So we past referencing our future when our standards are low, because we're essentially living whatever already happened just ahead into the future. And when we want to create something different, something bigger and more empowered and more profitable, from the business standpoint, that means we have to open up what we actually believe is possible for us. So that vision, that idea of, I can have this, or how would I be if I created that? What would it feel like for me if I fully stepped into this kind of a movie in my head and then fully experienced this? How would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? What would I be doing if I already had the very thing that I think I need to get to? So you sort of transport yourself into experience of what would it be like if you already have. That creates a much higher standard for yourself. And then keeping that standard means maintaining that type of a perception no matter what externally is happening. You continue to think, to feel, and to act as a person who is at that level already, even though you're actually not there yet. That's what energetically teaches your energy system and then broadcasts out into the world that this is what you desire, so then you can attract to yourself more of that kind of an experience. So then your life actually becomes that very thing. So this is how I work with my clients. Like there's certain things that we adjust in order to arrive into that energy and upgrade the standard of how you're actually living your life. So first, one of the things you would need to adjust sort of for yourself is think of whatever your purpose is, whatever your actual design is, whatever you're meant to do in this life, whatever your mission is. How are you actually living it? Is your everyday life standard matching that or not? So that would be a step one to sort of check with yourself. Am I actually living from my higher self? Am I consciously living from that place where I feel like I'm of service at all times? Another thing would be to adjust is this unique something about you, like your unique brilliance, your expertise that is unique to you. Is this something that is constantly showing up and shining to the world or not? If not, that means your standards for yourself are lower. So you would want to rise up within yourself, raise your standards a little bit within that so that your unique something can actually show up more, whatever that unique special thing about you, so that you can talk from that place, interact with your clients from that place. So then that's the energy that actually shows up when you are interacting with your clients. Of course, your business strategy and your marketing strategy and your visibility strategy all need to be matching that type of a frequency that you want to create from. So if the business strategy is kind of a cookie cutter strategy that's not designed for you, not matching you specifically, it would feel like you're a little trapped. It would feel hard. It would feel like you can't quite follow through. So if you're experiencing those things, those are clues that your standards for your own business strategy are lower than they need to be. That something needs to actually move higher for you to then choose a different strategy that matches you more precisely. Same thing with marketing. If you're noticing that you either don't know how or you are not following through on whatever you think you should be doing, or what you think you should be doing doesn't really feel good, all those things are indicators that your marketing strategy is not matching the standard that it needs to for you to be at the highest frequency of you, at the most harmonious place of yourself. Okay, so also the basic energetics of you, like are you replenished, recharged? Are you noticing that you're living in your life in a kind of more harmonious flow of life? Or are you feeling like you're stuck in a hurricane and things just whipping you left and right and you're having emotional ups and downs and you feeling waves of like desperation on one side and a freak out and exhaustion or boredom on another side? All those emotional things are indicators that something is off with the type of a standard that you're choosing for how you show up. That's another component that needs to be adjusted in order for you to actually feel like, oh, it's enough to be me. I'm okay being myself. I'm enjoying being myself. And the last piece of what needs to be done here in order to actually raise your standard for yourself so it becomes your wealth strategy for life and for your business is, what are you choosing to pull out from the quantum field for yourself? Like, what possibilities are you seeing for yourself, and what possibilities are you blocking because of your past referencing? What possibilities are you limiting yourself in because of your fear? Clearing those things up allows you to fully step into whatever it is that you actually, choose to do as naturally what your soul design is, and match that higher standard for yourself. Okay, so I would love to invite you guys for a free conversation with myself where I can look at your specific situation. What is it in all those areas I just named is a little bit off? Like, are you feeling certain emotional things off, or the business strategy not quite fitting? Are you feeling that tension, pressure, and so on? So if you're already at the level where you have your business, it's functioning, you have clients, you're generating income, but you're noticing that it's not quite the right clients, it's not quite maybe the type of income you want, or maybe it's the awesome income and great clients, but you're exhausted in the process, so something is off in the business strategy. Or maybe you're looking to expand to the next level, but for some reason you keep bumping into a ceiling that you're sort of noticing is there, but not sure how to shift out of that. So I would love you guys to connect with me so I can show you what is the sort of a blind spot here, like what needs to be adjusted to get you to the next level. So put the word yes in the comments if you'd like me to message you, so I can give you a little bit of the details how we can connect for a free conversation. or you can message me directly, and we can set up a conversation to look at your situation and then kind of see what we can do here so that you can have that amazing experience of actually having wealth in your life, financially, and with the type of people you're interacting, and with the type of experience you're having within yourself, how you're feeling about you. All right, I'm so glad that I got to connect with you, and my heart to you, love you. See you later. Bye-bye.